I'm Khyra Steiner, and you're listening to Elaborate with K. Elaborate with K. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elaborate with K. Today's episode is part 2 of the falling in love questions. So without further ado, let's just jump back into it. This is going to be the second half of the question, so 19 through 36. So let's get started. So question number 19. If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way that you are now living? Why? That's a deep question to start with. No, I wouldn't change anything about the way that I'm living. I think that, in starting this podcast and knowing that I'm about to graduate soon and everything, I've really just been trying to focus, hone in, and, prioritize things that make me happy and things that I enjoy doing. I feel like losing the routine of school is something that I know a lot of people have struggled with. And I just want to make sure that, I'm enjoying my time and doing stuff for me. So, no, I wouldn't change anything about the way that I'm living. I'm having a great time. Number 20. What does friendship mean to you? This is very similar to a question we had in the last episode. But to me, friendship means people that you surround yourself with, people that you find through, just different situations in life, but people that you surround yourself with that make you and your life better. I think it's really interesting. I remember hearing a quote or something where someone was talking about how a lot of times when we're in school and just throughout life in general, but especially when we're in school, like we make friends situationally. And so sometimes your best friend all throughout grade school can be because you guys were sitting next to each other in your kindergarten art class or something. But I think friendship is just, people that make you better. Don't think that I think that the best friendships are people that are going to be honest with you and that help you grow. So not yes men or yes people that are going to tell you that are going to agree with everything you say and just let you do things that, aren't going to be the best decision for you in the long run. Like I think that friendship is people truly being honest with you, telling you what they think, their honest opinions, and being honest, but also just people that are super supportive and want to uplift you and are happy for you in your endeavors and your accomplishments, and not people that are going to tear you down. Number 21. What roles do love and affection play in your life? I feel like love is definitely one of the things that I value most in life. As I've mentioned, I have the most supportive parents and family in the entire world, and I love them all. I love my dog, I love my boyfriend, I love my friends, people that I've grown up with, and honestly, like all of the people that have made me who I am, like I have so much love for them just because they all play really important and really vital roles in my life. And truly, I think love is the emotion that I feel, one that I feel the most, but two that I feel the most strong and passionate about. I think it is one of the most important things in the world is just loving people, loving yourself, loving what you're doing because at the end of the day, I feel like love is kind of it's what makes the world go round, and you can feel so happy and fulfilled if you have love in your life and you are able to express that love towards other people, but as well as if you are able to feel and get the love back. 22. Share something you consider a positive characteristic of your partner. I'm doing this by myself, but I'm gonna say a positive characteristic about that I think about this podcast or the people listening. I want it to be an uplifting thing. I want it to be something that is relatable. So those are two: uplifting, relatable. I want people to, feel heard, seen. I want this to be a safe space for people. You know, I want this to be a form of friendship and connection. I can't physically see you while you're watching this right now, but I'm assuming that if you are watching this or you're listening, we have something in common, or this podcast relates to something that you're interested in, something that you experienced, dealt with. Um, so connection. And I mean, I think it's fun. I love doing this podcast. It's so fun for me. It's literally like a passion project. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love, working on it in my free time, planning new ideas, editing episodes, all of it. It's super fun for me. So, those are my positive characteristics. Number 23. How close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most people's? I think that my family is very close and very, very warm. I come from a very family oriented family. My family is genuinely, it's huge. I have a huge family and everyone always looks out for each other. They're super supportive. Um, we have family group chats where people kind of just share like things that they're excited about or accomplishments or like upcoming projects and stuff, and everyone in it is always so supportive and gracious. So I'm definitely super grateful and proud of just having such an amazing family. Um, yeah, everyone is super warm, welcoming. It feels like one big hug. And I do feel like my childhood was happier, or I don't know about happier than other people's. I think I was a very happy child. I have so many great memories of, spending time with my parents, hanging out with my friends, cousins. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think my parents did a really amazing job of just giving me so many opportunities and taking me all of these fun places. We used to go on picnics at the park. We would like pack sandwiches and go to the park on a park blanket and kind of just hang out, and we'd play games, and like I'd go to the slide, or my dad and I would go on ice cream and donut runs. And so I definitely have a lot of happy core childhood memories for sure. For 24. How do you feel about your relationship with your mother? I love my mom. I know she's listening to this. Hi, mom. Um, no, I love my mother. She's, again, one of the most helpful, supportive people in the entire world. She checks in on me every single day, every chance she gets, and she's always just asking me if there's anything that I need help with, anything that she can do. And truly, I know that she does it for me as her child, but she does it for her siblings as well. She's constantly calling them. My mom is genuinely one of the most supportive, loving, caring people in the entire world. And it doesn't matter if you're blood related to her or not. Like, if you mean something to her, she's gonna let you know. And she's genuinely, like I said, like one of the most loving people in the entire world. Number 25. Make three true we statements for each. So again, this is supposed to be done with a partner. So I think we're gonna make three true I statements. So I am it's really like an identity thing. um, I am a black girl. I am a daughter. I am a podcaster, and I am happy in this seat talking to all of you and filming this podcast. I know that was more than three, but okay. Number 26. Complete the sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank. Um, I wish I had someone with whom I could share the contents of this podcast. That seems like a really cop out answer, but no, I know that this is a podcast that has definitely helped me just in recording and filming it and doing it. It's been something that I wish I would have had growing up. Um, when I was younger and throughout high school, even like throughout college, I know that I would have loved to just be able to listen to a podcast that was talking about the Black experience in a comforting and normal way, and not making it a big thing about like, oh, not always talking about like trauma or the negative things, but kind of just like the day to day. Um, yeah, and so I wish that I had the opportunity to meet some of you, talk to some of you that are listening to this and kind of just share in this moment together. Number 27. If you were going to become a close friend with your partner, please share what would be important for him or her to know. Okay, so something that is important for you all to know about me. Ooh. I think it's important to know that I am a very dedicated and determined person with this podcast, with school, with track, with pretty much anything that I'm doing. I put my mind to it, and if I tell myself I'm getting this done, or I need to do this, or I'm going to start this, or I'm going to start a new project, I'm going to make plans to hang out with this person, I'm going to finish cleaning my room today, I'm going to organize my entire laptop. I am very determined, and I really want to make sure that I get those things done. And I think that's honestly been really helpful in terms of this podcast too, of definitely I'm really good, I think, at keeping and holding myself accountable for sure. And obviously like putting out the podcast and now having an audience and the platform is definitely keeping me accountable and making sure that I'm consistent with it, and just knowing that there are people that are waiting for it and people that are hopefully looking forward to it or being affected positively by this podcast. So definitely very determined, hardworking, and holding myself accountable. Number 28. Tell your partner what you like about them. Be very honest this time, saying things you might not say to someone you've just met. I'm doing this myself, so I'm going to say something I really like about myself. I really like how open and caring I am, and I think that if not to toot my own horn or anything, but if you're one of my friends, you know that I genuinely I love letting people know how much I care about them and that they're important to me. It's just something that I really enjoy doing because I feel like there are plenty of times or plenty of people that don't always get to hear it enough. And so for the people that are really close to me and the people that I truly do care so much about, I love doing that. I've definitely randomly written my friends little notes of just telling them how much I appreciate and care about them and how much they mean to me. Number 29. Share an embarrassing moment in your life. Ugh. Um, okay, one time, I don't know if this is embarrassing, it's just the first thing I thought of. But one time when I was in fifth grade, we were going on a field trip to the Griffith Observatory, which, if you're from LA, California, it's this big observatory right by the Hollywood sign. You go in and they show you a bunch of planets, and you can see the solar system and stuff like that. It's really cool. But it's also a hike that a lot of people like to do, especially in LA. You can hike up to the Hollywood sign, or you can go on the other side and hike up to the observatory. And so I was going on a field trip in fifth grade. And, whenever we're going on field trips, I always told us to wear comfortable shoes because you're going to be walking a lot. We're not going to be in the classroom. So I wore these comfortable shoes, but I had to wear uniforms. So I remember I showed up to school that day. I was wearing a uniform shirt. I think it was gray. My navy blue uniform skirt, probably a skirt, realistically, because I love a good skirt. And then I had on these black sparkly Vans that were new because our shoes had to be black, white, or black and white. But I had on some black sparkly Vans and I really liked them. And I get to school that day and they tell us, oh, not even when we get to school. We get to school, get on the bus, and they let us off. And I was like, this isn't the observatory. I had been on other field trips. I was like, this is not the observatory. And they told us that we were going to be hiking up there. And I was not dressed to be hiking up to the observatory. I was wearing a uniform skirt and my new sparkly black Vans. If I knew we were going to be hiking, I probably would have worn shorts or pants, and definitely would have worn different shoes because I'm pretty sure they were covered in dirt by the end of it. But there we were. We hiked all the way up to the observatory, and there's this one little section right before you get to the top, and you have to make a turn around the mountain. And imagine my like almost my entire fifth grade class. So there was over 100 kids plus all of our like staff and chaperones and everything for the field trip. So we're all going around this turn, and I was like on the we were standing in like rows, whatever. And so I was on the end of this row, and my foot slipped, and I always say that I almost fell. I don't know realistically if I actually almost fell. I felt like I was gonna fall down the mountain, but I didn't. I climbed back up, got to the top of the observatory, and was very, very upset. My mom was there. She can attest to that, but I wasn't even upset about the fact that we were hiking. Like I liked exercising and being outdoors and stuff. I was just upset that one, I wore my sparkly Vans, and two, I was wearing a skirt. I was like, I was not prepared to hike up to the observatory today, and I was just upset that they didn't tell us. But I think they didn't tell us because they wanted people to still come on the field trip, and they thought a lot of people wouldn't. But I think a heads up would have been nice. Anyway, yeah. Number 30. When did you last cry in front of another person or by yourself? I can't. Oh, okay. You know what? Recently, my school had Ava DuVernay come and do a master class. And so when they do master classes, they usually show their most recent or upcoming film if it's a filmmaker, or if they worked on TV shows, they'll show like one or two episodes or something, or just their most recent or upcoming project. So Ava DuVernay came, and before she came to like speak, they showed her film Origin, and I'd never seen it. I'd heard about it vaguely, but I hadn't seen it yet. And that was a very, very emotional film, especially for we had a little Black excellence section of they rented out or they reserved seats for a lot of the Black students on campus. So me and some of my other like Black Student Union board members came, and just some other friends that I knew that are like in the film school came. And when I tell you everyone was in tears, it was an emotional roller coaster of a film, but it was so beautifully written and done. So it was great, but just have some tissues handy or something. Number 31. Tell your partner something that you like about them already. It's just me. Um, I like I feel like I'm just complimenting myself this whole episode. What? um, no, I'm gonna give you guys a compliment. I really like that you are listening, taking the time to listen to this podcast. I hope that you're enjoying it so far, that you're liking the episodes, that you're getting something out of it, and that thing is positive. So yeah. Number 32. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about? I mean, I think there's plenty of things that can be listed here. I don't know. I think that in general, like the loss of life is something that shouldn't be joked about. Not probably, it shouldn't be joked about. Losing someone is definitely one of the hardest things that a person can go through, and it's a very emotional thing, and it's a process that you kind of never fully get over, I believe. And I think that I don't know, just losing someone or like loss of life is this serious thing that you kind of have to grapple with for the rest of your life, and it's something that never really goes away, and no matter what, it's always gonna be a big important thing, and it's always gonna matter. And so I think that that's definitely something that's not to be joked about. Number 33. Oh, this is a long one. Okay. If you were to die this evening with no opportunity to communicate with anyone, what would you most regret not having told someone? Why haven't you told them yet? I honestly, I think that I can't think of anything specific or any one specific, because as I mentioned, I do try to make sure that I let people know how much they mean to me and how much I care about them as much as possible. Um, I would definitely just want to, tell all of my family and my parents especially, just again how much I love and appreciate everything that they've done for me, and just all of their support, because I wouldn't be where I am today, with the confidence to record this podcast, and knowing that I'm almost graduating from undergrad and just all of these really big things I wouldn't have been able to do without their support and, them like encouraging me to follow my dreams and letting me figure out what things are interesting and following my passions and, them driving me to school or driving me to my sports practices and all of that. So just thank you again to my parents. Number 34. Okay. Your house containing everything you own catches fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to safely make a final dash to save any one item. What would it be and why? Okay, so this was for some reason a question that I had been asked when I was in elementary school. I think when we had to do little journal entries. And my answer growing up was always my American Girl doll because I felt like that was the most cherished and prized possession that I had at the time. And I definitely do still love and cherish her. But, oh, what one item? I think I would want to get. Hmm, honestly, I think I'm gonna say either. Mm, this is hard, guys. Okay. I'm deciding between my laptop or a photo album. Um, I think. Uh, I think we're gonna go with the photo album or like my little case. I have a little case of SD cards from like my camera and stuff. And so I think we're gonna go with the little case of SD cards that I have because it doesn't have every single moment of my life captured on there. But I think that, especially, being in college or like going through high school, going through college and being in those periods where you know that there at some point like you're knowing that you and your friends or like friendships aren't permanently in like the same place forever. I think that I've come to cherish and appreciate pictures and picture frames a lot more. Like I know growing up, I'd love to look at all the photo albums that my parents and my grandma would have, and I like used to just flip through them. I would flip through the same albums all the time, but it was just really cool to see all of these pictures and knowing that like my parents or my grandma could tell me the exact story of everything that happened that day that this one picture was taken with them in like a blue hat. And so I've definitely come to also very much appreciate photos and photo albums. So I would say that. 35. Of all the people in your family, whose death would you find most disturbing and why? This is another one that we're just not going to answer because I don't even want to think about that right now. So last one, number 36. This one is asking us to reflect. So I'm going to reflect on these past 36 questions. If you didn't hear the first 18, go back and listen to part 1. But honestly, I really enjoyed this. I've heard about the list of questions before and I'd never gone through and actually looked at every single one of them. I think I've always gone through and looked at maybe the first 5 to 10, but I've never gone through all 36 of them. That was actually really fun, really insightful, introspective um just experience, and I'm really happy that I was able to do it on here. So hopefully you all have a better sense of who I am. Hopefully you got to learn a little bit more about me as we continue on with this podcast journey. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would challenge you to go and, go back and answer the questions yourself or with a partner, but even just doing it with yourself and kind of, you learn a little bit more about you. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you all next Sunday with another episode of Elaborate with K. Bye. And yeah, talk to you next Sunday.